Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Tonight, we are going to be diving through what I affectionately refer to as Geek Christmas. .NET Conf has been this week. We'll dive into more details on that in a moment. And I've been very excited at all the new stuff. Going along with that, it is time to start updating things because we have a new version of .NET, a new version of C#, and epicness to do. But first, I got a whole slew of links and announcements. So, let's go here. Oh, hang on one second.
Much love. Yeah. Oh.
Hang on, I got an audio tab open somewhere, and it is tweening on me. There we go. I think I'm better. I got browser windows relaunching, and that is not good. Anyway. Okay. There we go. So, upcoming GitCon 2025. I think I mentioned this before. For anybody interested, very excited for it. And the reason I'm very excited, if we scroll down and a little further and a little further, cool giveaways. That's always fun. But even better, it's me. See? Happy. I even made the front row. So, GitCon 2025 coming up. Going to be a lot of great speakers. It's 2 days, but they've kind of split the content where the first day, is it scratchy? Thank you, Victor. Let me check and see. I thought I had my audio set and then a bunch of my stuff updated and rebooted, and I'm worried that that is problematic with reverb effect almost. Let me see here. Grabbing it myself. Hang on, we'll see what's going on. That's not what I want. I want to grab that. Oh wow, yeah, it is, isn't it? Let me fix this here. There, a little better. Still kind of off. And figure out where my extra audio is coming from. Sorry, one moment. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Test, test, test. Test, test. There. That's still off. Sorry, apparently I didn't dial this in. Testing? Wow. Okay. A little better, but still not what I would expect. Just make sure it's not coming from my board. My stuff got moved around today, so there's a very real chance something got messed up. There. Better. Okay. There. Yeah, I think I found it. Okay. Yeah, you say better, Victor. Let me know. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, I think I got it all, but we'll see. My office got rearranged earlier and wires were moved. Okay, back to what I was talking about. GitCon, me speaking. 2-day event. Day 1 is going to be focused a little bit more on developer-centric side of the fence, and day 2 a little bit more on the leadership side of the fence. So I believe I'm day 1. I'm fairly confident. Shockingly, I will be showing off a lot of flows on GitKraken Desktop, trying to optimize, effectively making you as effective as possible. I've done a similar variation of the talk the last several years, but every year I always try to tailor it based upon all the releases that have been over the last year, because there's always new stuff, right? Sprinkle in a little bit of, those hidden features that people often forget, but then making sure to highlight all of the new stuff, and there's a lot of new stuff. Shockingly, a ton of it is around AI. I mean, you can pull open their release notes. So if you have not signed up, free to sign up. It is an awesome conference every year. I enjoy it. Grab a spot. I'll see you there. Okay, next, .NET Conf, or as I like to refer to it, Geek Christmas. This is effectively a conference from Microsoft where they release a whole bunch of stuff. So as per usual, every November we get a new version of .NET, new version of C#. This year, Visual Studio 2026 went GA, which is great. So if you were watching me stream or you saw my video with Mads before on some of the Visual Studio features, it is now out there. Grab it, update it. We're going to use some of the features that come through here. There are a lot of really good talks. I think the ones that excited me the most were often in day one. I haven't gotten through all of them. I was trying to catch the stream live as much as I could, but then I kept scrubbing around, so I kept losing my spot. But the one specifically on day one from Stephen Taub, where he goes over the performance improvements that hang on, this doesn't look right. In Net 9, ignore that one. We want the ones in Net 10. Grab the wrong link. Hang on. Again, see, this is the problem with me opening and clicking around and prepping stuff ahead of time, is I apparently spent all this time prepping and prepped the wrong stuff. But going through a lot of the performance improvements in .NET. One of the things that some people have probably heard me joke about is in .NET, you don't have performance problems. You have memory problems, and memory problems. A lot of the performance things that you will see shown off all come down to reducing pressure on the garbage collector, because that is typically one of the biggest bottlenecks in your application. And the nice part, Stephen goes into all of the details of the improvements, but for the most part, all you need to know is update to the latest stuff, and you get this for free. So this is often why when you see people updating to the latest version of .NET, they go, oh, look at all of the wonderful speed improvements I got. Well, yeah, it's all of this stuff kind of under the hood that you just get for free when you update to it. So short version, .NET 10 is faster than .NET 9, and if you update to it, you will get all of those performance improvements. It's great. But check out his talk day one. It is very much worthwhile. I am also somewhat biased. My friend and colleague Ben, he got selected to be one of the presenters at .NET Conf, and he knocked it out of the park. So day one and day two were all presentations from Microsoft folks about all of their stuff. Today, day three, was all around Community Day. So it was a lot of industry leaders, MVPs, otherwise presenting stuff there. And so it is up and running. Hey, Jordan. It is functional. I won't say done, but it is very much functional. My wife was in painting some shelves and bookcases that we're putting in earlier today. But I've got, walls, flooring, green screen. It's great. So yes, finished. It's probably going to be now the long tail of getting all the little things. But yes, anyway. But Ben's talk was great, and we're actually going to leverage some of the concepts from it in doing updating stuff today, because I thought it was great. So it was all around a tool that he built of taking test output from TRX files and generating a Visual Studio playlist file. If you've not heard of those things, don't worry. He talks through them in the presentation. It's great. It's about 25 minutes long. Well worth your 25 minutes. Check it out. Okay, so .NET Conf, GitCon, everyone go register for GitCon. It'll be great. Oh, the last thing that I didn't grab, forgot all of this stuff on doing this. There is a user group coming up with me. I know, shocker. Let me see here. Bring this guy over. And then if we go here and we go here and I go events and I find our upcoming event. Why is my thing so slow? Boy, I probably should have just rebooted and installed all the updates. I was cranking through updates before this started. So if you are interested, we're going to cover a few things tonight, but there is a user group coming up December 2nd, 5 to 6:30, where we are going to be talking what's new in .NET 10 / C# 14. So if you are a .NET engineer building anything, this is for you. This will be all of the cool things. I might sprinkle a little VS 2026 in there as well, but this release, unlike last year that was kind of a little lackluster, this year there's a lot of stuff. This was a good year for features and updates and cool things. So we're gonna take a look at some of those. If you haven't done so, download .NET 10, or if you're on VS 2026, you probably already got it bundled in. But 10.0.100 is the official release. And I did want to point out, for people who are unfamiliar with how Microsoft versions the SDK, your first number is your major version. Expect this guy to rev every year, right? The second one here is the minor version rev. They've revved this a handful of times, but oftentimes they don't. Think 7.1, 7.2, 7.3 that they did. The last several, they've because they've been doing such a fast yearly cadence, they haven't really put out minor point releases. But then this last 100 is actually two numbers squashed together. So you'll note that these are always 3 digits, and this 100, you'll always see 100, 200, 300, 400, because they put that kind of in the quarters of the year that these things are coming out. And then the last 2 numbers, think of them as your build ID or similar. So when you are looking at these versions, just know that assembly versioning only allows for 3 digits or 3 sections of numbers. And so they went, that's fine, we'll just scratch 2 numbers together in the last one. So that's how that works, in case you were wondering. Okay, so new stuff that is in C# 14, and we're going to go rev some projects to pick this up. But the key ones that I think for that excite me the most, right? Like, we got to call these ones out. Extension everything, or extension members as they're calling it, right? We got extension methods way back in C#. Boy, what was it? It was like .NET 3.5 or 3. I'm trying to remember when Link was introduced, but it was just methods, and specifically instance methods, right? And I say instance in quotes because even though the extension methods were declared static, they showed up and appeared as though they were instance methods. And I think immediately everybody wanted, ooh, could we get extension properties? Could we get extension insert wish list here, right? And so we now have extension members. And you'll note they demonstrated here, they have extension operators on top of things. Static extension property. You can do static extension methods. So if there is a static class that you want to put a maybe a factory method on, there is now an option for that as well. You have your usual extension methods and your extension properties. The other thing that is really cool about this is down level supported. So what that means is, as long as you are compiling with the latest version of C# compiler, so you do need the .NET 10 SDK to compile this, you can still target an older version of .NET and leverage this feature, right? Which is really cool. Like it is, and that's one of the blurry lines between .NET and C# is sometimes features require things in the base class library. So it's like, well, you can't really down level that unless you polyfill or do some things. This one works backwards, which is pretty cool. And I don't remember exactly how far back it works, but everything that's reasonably modern, right? So this is one of the big features in here. This is an awesome one, right? I think I would go as far as to say I would not write extension methods with the old syntax anymore, ever. I don't know if I'm going to jump immediately to going and changing them, but I think all net new extensions that I write are probably going to be in this syntax, right? Unless I have some reason to think that I won't. Yes, Kenny. Well, we're touching on a handful of them. I don't want to completely spoil the user group, but I got to show off my favorite ones. So extension members are absolutely amazing. I will point out that because you get these fancy things like extension operators, this opens up a whole new world of incredibly watty, insane code that you can do. Like this gets a little bit insane, right? However, I will point one key thing out that these are still extension members, so they're still subject to the usual overload resolution that we had with extension methods before, right? So if you had an instance member that was called, for example, .where, right? The extension method would have lower overload resolution priority than the instance member. The instance member would always win, right? So there is those types of situations where you can't really use extension members to hijack things, but you can use them to extend things where they aren't there and then do some really wacky stuff with it. Especially like once you get access to operators, like you can just start having fun, right? And write some completely unreadable C#, which for some of us is pretty epic. Okay. Let's see. More partial members. Oh, I think this one here was supposed to be the null conditional assignment, right? So this is the other big one that I think is going to change the way I write a lot of C#. Is before we had what some people called the Elvis operator, null propagation operator, ? Dot, right? And it was only usable on the gets, not the sets. Right? So you had no way of conditionally assigning to something. You only had conditionally reading of it. So the null propagation operator was always on the right-hand side of the equals, not on the left. Well, now we've put it all the way onto the left, right? And it's important to note that what this ends up meaning, right? It means that if customer is null, this function is not invoked. Right? Very similar to what you had up here, right? These are logically the same. That's important if this function has side effects, right? Now, in general, you should avoid that, but if a function has side effects, you do run into this issue. So don't do that. That would be bad. But it does mean we can now write some much cleaner code. It also means that you can leverage this for like event registrations with your plus equals, minus equals, etc. Right? You don't get away with it for increment and decrement operators. Boo-hoo. Right? So these ones are cool. These ones not as cool, but like I don't know how often I am doing plus plus on something that is nullable ever, right? So yeah, it's a very simplistic feature. Some people may not even notice the change in the code base because they're already familiar with the ? Dot. It's now on the left side of the equals rather than the right, which again, completely changes the way I write code because I am taking these 4 lines, making them 1 line. Everyone's happy, or at least I'm happy and giggling. The last one, and this one is specifically very useful for if you are leveraging like the MVVM toolkit, you're writing a lot of properties or otherwise, is before we always had this idea of we had to write a backing field. And oftentimes there was like coding guidelines that would say, hey, you know, if you're wrapping the field up in a property because you want to put validation or something on it, like what you have here, don't ever access the field outside of the property. And you just kind of enforce that by convention rather than by rule. However, with auto properties, the compiler generates a field behind the scenes for you. If you ever looked at the IL, you'll see this kind of funky named field that gets generated, and that's all the auto property is, a syntactic sugar around a field that the compiler generates for you. Now we can actually access that compiler generated field with the field keyword. Now, this is a breaking change. Specifically because people might have fields on their classes that are named field, right? A lot of things leverage this because a field is a thing, especially if you build anything that was like source gen generated, database related. Like field is a common enough word. So if you do have this, this is a bit of a breaking change. There is a source analyzer to try to flag this if it is biting you, but you do then need to disambiguate with the at or this field to be clear about which way you are trying to go, right? Because field is now a contextual keyword for being inside a property. So if you have any of those things, those matter now, right? Okay. There are a handful of breaking level changes. Most of these things, I always enjoy reading the breaking changes because it gives me ideas of bad things to do. But they're also, it's very rare that these actually bite me in the case of anything else. The scoped keyword inside of a Lambda parameter. So one of the things, if you watch Steven's talk from day one of .NET Conf, he talks about how they were able to gain a lot of performance improvements via something called escape analysis. So the idea is if you have a parameter inside of a function, say you're referencing some object, they don't have to allocate memory on the heap for that object if they know that it never leaves the function, right? If they know it's just going to be inside that local scope, they can then stack allocate it, which means no GC pressure, which means code goes faster, right? But it all comes from this escape analysis that they added into .NET 10 to get this in certain situations. Great, fine. To support some of what's happening with all of this stuff, there is a keyword called scoped that is specifically there around leveraging if you do ref structs to mark it for the escape analysis, right? Again, most people don't get into this level of detail, but if you do, this will matter. And I think this is the one that's most likely to break people, is this is now always a modifier. And once again, you have to disambiguate with an at if you've already got one. Again, I don't think people are going to run into this. And again, the other one is this field on a property referring to a backing field. I think these are the ones that are most likely to break people. And I think this one here is these types of things. But again, these are small warnings that if you were doing this before, the fix is pretty trivial, right? Don't do this, right? O is not null or 42. Well, okay, fine. Like that's not a thing. So it's like, well, yes, you could have accidentally done this. It's great that they're now flagging it, especially if you have warnings as errors turned on. This is now a compile breaking change for those people. But again, just a handful of things worth looking at to see. Okay, there's all of, at least that I would say is the highlights reel of C#. Of the things that I think are the most important there. There's also lots of cool stuff that's been announced for Aspire, Entity Framework, the BCL. We're not going to jump into all of those right this second. Not right this second. We've got other things to do. Okay, something else I want to highlight. So I have been hard at work on the AutoMocker library. For people who tuned in 2 weeks ago, was hacking away on the source generators. Those are now merged, and there is a release that has gone out the door. So I got my hands on the NuGet keys and all of the needful. And so, where's my versions? Where'd my versions go? There. I'm blind. So you'll see 3 days ago, I kicked a release out the door, 360.720. So if you are somebody using mock AutoMocker, please give it a try. This release here is probably going to be my 360 release. I've now put it in 3 projects without issue. So that gives me a lot of confidence that I haven't broken anything, because that constitutes somewhere around like 10,000 different tests. So it's like, okay, that's a reasonable-ish, but I also tend to write my tests in a particular way, so it's a lot of tests in one style. So it would be good to get a few other people to verify things, but we are now back in the situation where we are rolling releases out, because you can see the last release was way too long ago. All right, we don't do that anymore. So now that I've got my hands on it, we are rolling releases. Do check it out. Again, let me know if there is any problems that you run into, because I would like to roll it, get things going. The other thing, and I need to put in some documentation for this, because this has been one of the biggest problems with it, is I have secretly with this release embedded things that are source generator-y. And so the big idea here is if you bring in mock.automocker into a project that is referencing Microsoft extension options, it will add this with options extension method. And I know I just finished saying that I would never write extension methods in the old syntax anymore. Well, in this case, because I'm targeting other stuff, I don't know what version of the compiler this code is going to run against, so you'll note that the generated stuff I tend to write, we'll call it older idiomatic C#, just to get broader compatibility. It source gens this class into your project, because I got annoyed having to write this extension method on Automocker on multiple projects, so I killed it. There is a MS build property you can set if you want to turn off these source generators. There's a similar one for iLogger as well, where it embeds the Microsoft fake logger as an in-memory implementation to grab your logging messages. Again, it just looks for projects that are referencing those dependencies. It means that Automocker itself doesn't need to take a dependency on those libraries, and it can just source gen them in when it runs into them, which is kind of in my opinion, a very clever trick. It puts the burden on me, the library author, to handle all those cases, whereas oftentimes what people do is they make derivative NuGet packages that bring in those extra dependencies, which is fine. I don't like a lot of I don't like having to deal with a deep NuGet hierarchy, and this was my way around it. So I'm experimenting with it. So if you like it and you think it's good, great. Play around with them. I do want to get some docs in place so that people are clear on how this stuff works, because I don't think that is very discoverable. Magic extension methods lighting up are cool, but nobody's going to discover the MS build properties unless they actually come in and look at my source code. So for what it's worth, I think that is worth doing. I will just point out, if anybody's looking for what those are, enable Automocker options generator is this guy here. So there's your build property. Takes a bool, right? Toggle the bool accordingly, and then you're off to the races. So clever trick as a way of going through and adding stuff in. The rest of the source generators still are in there for generating like the constructor tests. So if you're leveraging that to dodge people's poor restrictions around code coverage metrics, they are in there. Okay. We got stuff. So there are a handful of things I was hoping to go through and rev and get up to date and rolling. This guy here, why is there a PR open? Oh, it's Dependabot, and I haven't done this. Okay, so we are going to leverage, looking for icon for NuGet package. Huh. This feels like something I co-pilot myself to victory on. Let's see. Update all dependencies. Let's see. Update all NuGet packages to their latest versions. Resolve any build warnings or compiler errors. And then we're just going to give it to Copilot and say, go have fun. And we'll see what it comes back with. Yeah, do it. And send it. Okay, so we'll get that one off to the races and going. This one here, what do we got blocking us? Right, so this is another source generator problem one that we may punt on for the moment and then come back to in a little bit, because I do want to get the XAML test stuff updated. But now that I've done a couple of the source generators in the new way, it doesn't feel quite as bad, but it is slightly more arduous than I had initially thought. Okay, so material design, there was one here that came in that caught my attention and I was curious about. So there was an issue that was opened, and I'm mildly skeptical, and I'll explain why here in a minute. This one here, did the issue get closed? Where is because it was flagged as discussion. Labels, or I guess question. I know it was because I flagged it. So if I go there and look at closed. Boy, did the whole thing get deleted? So this one here, the user here did open an issue asking about adding more comprehensive tests. Now, this looks very well written. But it also looks very AI heavy, and so we are like, I am less familiar with this Git tensor one, and it is very interesting to me of what it was tasked with. Like, it's nice that somebody has AIified doing work for open source. However, I think people misunderstand the workload for an open source maintainer is not in writing the code. It is managing the backlog, the PRs, and the code reviews. That is where the lion's share of the work comes in. So on one hand, this is nice, but I am very skeptical of AI generated stuff, because I don't need something that's just going to spam my stuff. Izzy, good morning. It is a happy morning of full Geek Christmas announcements. And now that Izzy's here, on that Enigma project, just as an update, I went and made a new friend this week with one of the engineers on the Mono Game project, so that I could pick his brain a little bit on thoughts. Who's updated yet? Ooh, I did update. And we're gonna, my templates project has been revved. So this guy is updated to net 10, which is exciting. I did run into a small issue where some of the hosted agents on GitHub were not updated when I did this, but I think I waited like 30 minutes after it was announced, so I can kind of cut them a little slack for, not rolling out the latest SDK to every hosted agent in that period of time. So in my case, I got away with it here because I was getting the preview, because I think I got RC2 when I did the build, which was fine. Like, my stuff didn't care. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Good enough. But my templates are updated with all of that in place. Okay, so yeah, so, and I think we may end up squashing some of these here. The other thing I was hoping to do is I was hoping to actually steal Ben's tool that he demoed, because it's kind of a slick thing. So the idea being that when a test fails, it would be really cool to upload a build artifact of a Visual Studio playlist file that shows you that you can download, that it just includes the failing test, so it's easier to get them going. Let's see, LOL, the second it was mentioned, I updated my apps. but don't have CI/CD yet. Yeah. Like I've been pushing things to net 10 preemptively and haven't really had any issue. Most of my apps, it's just a version toggle. And then occasionally a global JSON. If you've got one of those, don't forget to rev it in those places. And then obviously, yeah, CI/CD needs to be updated as well. I think in a lot of cases, if I've done my pipelines correctly, and I think I did this on my templates, should double check to make sure I didn't botch this. We'll pick on like the NuGet one. Because there's a global.json, my setup.net should leverage the global.json so that it revs with it. Yeah, so this is, in my opinion, the correct way to do it, just FYI. So that guy, so that when you want to rev your package or your framework version, you rev it in your global.json, and then you don't have to remember to go and update it in all your pipelines, right? Your global.json serves as that centralized place of what build tooling do all of my things need, right? It's respected by your IDE, the terminal. That is one other thing I should show off. DNX. So this is something that is in .NET 10. And again, we won't go through all of the stuff, but DNX is worth highlighting. So this, I think, came about from feature envy of other languages and frameworks that have this ability to effectively execute quick and easy, right? Think of this DNX is to .NET what NPX is to NPM, right? Ish, right? But close enough. So it gives a quick and easy way of quickly evaluating and running tools, and so it's a nice, simple way of being able to kick things off. So hey, sweet, we got caught up. It only does exist because it is part of the .NET 10 SDK. If you are not running the latest .NET 10, DNX will not work for you. So just know you do need the latest tooling to have, this thing for the CLI. So, but it is a nice little feature. I did see a presentation today from Steve Smith, or Ardellis, as people often know him as from his online handle, where he had used it as a way of basically a virtualized business card. Rather than putting a QR code where people could grab stuff, it's like, hey, run this DNX command, you get all the information. Clever. Very nice. So quick and easy way to be able to go through and leverage things. Yeah, so the NPX is a way of quickly executing a tool that is stored out in NPM. DNX is roughly the equivalent to that for .NET, Izzy. Because oftentimes, like most of the NPX commands I've run recently have been NPX commands to launch somebody's MCP server that I wanted to use. I will be honest, that is most of my NPX invocations in like the last 3 or 4 months. Is I want this MCP server. Well, they released it as a tool out on NPM. Great. Type thing, hit enter. It pulls it down, runs the tool. Everyone's happy, right? It's just a kind of a loose wrapper around a lot of convenience of acquire tool, run tool, do the thing. Because just to point out, like .NET Say is a .NET global tool that exists. I think we can just go look at it. Yeah, so this is just a .NET global tool. And so when you do DNX, like for their sample here, right? When you do DNX.NET Say, it's going out looking for a global tool that matches and then invoking the tool with these args, right? So it's combining a .NET tool install, a .NET run, and of those things there. Yeah, that's actually a thing, Izzy, I was contemplating going through and doing a demonstration on. I think I actually have a reasonable use case for an MCP server where I think I can put together better uses for interacting with the material design library that even things like Context 7 won't do a great job of, because all of those rely on, like Context 7 relies on effectively being able to parse the repository and the docs and doing kind of this RAG-based lookup to pull in information. But I think as the library author, I can do better of putting together very specific use cases so that when people are using things like Cursor, Copilot, or whatever, if they've loaded in the my MCP of how to actually generate the appropriate XAML using the latest library stuff, I think I can do better with this. I also secretly kind of want to be able to embed in migration docs, but that's been a pipe dream for a while. But I think MCP might be the magic sauce for that. Like, me and another engineer a long time ago kind of dreamed up this system where library authors could put something in their package or otherwise that would give a tool enough information to make the relevant changes to somebody's repository to upgrade them from version A to version B. Right. And so, then there's the question of, well, what do you have to do for the intermediate versions, all that jazz. But oftentimes when there's breaking changes, as the library author, we usually have a pretty good idea of what people should change to what. Right. There's a handful of times where it's like, sorry, there's just nothing here anymore. But sometimes it's like, yeah, that thing got renamed. And so, people will put in like obsolete attributes. Hey, don't use this anymore. It's this other thing instead. It's like, well, shoot, if I know the transformation, it'd be really cool if I could do that. And so I have this thought in my head that MCP would be an MCP server would be a really slick way to be able to prompt the AI agent, because you can put prompts inside of it and then also give it the idea of what those transformations need to be, because then the agent can do more intelligent stuff. Could it be embedded into an app? Thinking Enigma app with a search chat feature to find info, as there may be a lot in there when finished. Ooh, that is an interesting idea. Because so I don't know if you would necessarily need an MCP, but putting something in there that could be that AI chat client certainly is an option. Like, a lot of the use cases for MCP are being able to get more context into an agent other than what it's currently got access to, right? Sometimes it's to give the agent capabilities. Like Playwright is a favorite example for a lot of people. Is the Playwright MCP lets the agent start a browser, interact with the DOM, do some clicky, right? It adds a lot of cool functionality that the agent can then just start doing stuff, right? But I think a lot of cases for people's MCPs, it's the capability that they want to give the agent access to is some way to either get access or to manipulate certain data or otherwise that it wouldn't otherwise be able to get to, right? Because the MCP server, like you imagine an enterprise, it can have the relevant auth and things built in and know about, people's particular structures and otherwise to go out and get data. And maybe the MCP shells out into another AI to do some logic if it needs to kind of like orchestrate this whole stuff. But oftentimes it's, hey, I need this bridge between what the AI is doing and what I have access to. So yeah, it could certainly be something with extra data that we seed in to get some more context in, because that could be a very interesting thing to play with as well. Because I've been wanting to go through and do a stream building and hosting one out. There was some cool demos of building MCP servers in .NET Conf that got me thinking of. I'm noodling on ideas. They got me inspired to start thinking of, I feel like there's something there. I just need to figure out what I want. That's the hardest part. Once I know what I want, I'm confident I can make it manifest. I just need to figure out what exactly it is I want. Because I want this magical thing, but I want this magical thing isn't quite good enough. Right? Okay, so I'm gonna save this. This was a page I found on changing volume of individual apps. May come back to that. You're still chugging away, aren't you? And we're going to see how this works. I don't know how well it's going to do, mostly because... oh, is it done? Oh, it's done. Oh, and it revved the global tool. Great. Okay, well, let's... Proof is in the pudding for this one of... Let's promote to a real voice and approve to run, I think, because I want to see it actually... I want to see it pass my pipeline. If it passes the pipeline, it's probably going to be in pretty good shape. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see here. So let's go back into our pull request, and we're going to prompt Copilot one more time to fix this, because I only told it NuGet dependencies. We want to come down here. Let's see. Add Copilot. Also update all of the GitHub actions as well. Yeah, do that too. Pretty please. Okay, we'll come back to you and check on you in a minute. Okay, so this chip test here. So I'm wanting to see. Let's just grab this. So give me 1 second here. I got to get my Kraken flipped over to the right profile. Go. And then we're gonna go material design. And then find all your stuff, do the needful, figure it out. Let's see, we'll get my main updated, and then let's check this guy out and take a look at it. So one of the things that I think is worth calling out for people is you don't need libraries to update to net 10 for you to update to net 10, right? Like the material design library, I don't need to update to net 10 for anybody wanting to leverage it. Me updating to net 10 would be because I want the extra stuff inside of my library, but there's nothing about it that makes it incompatible. The one thing I do want to do, let's see, Visual Studio has been updated. Yay! Let's see. This project couldn't be reloaded. Okay, that was weird. Setup assistant, that's boldface lie, don't care. Let's see, we do want to get off of 306 into 307. We are going to look at revving this. So I'm going to get the tooling updated to net 10. And we're going to look at new analyzers and see what warnings and whatnot may come. But there will be, so I do not immediately drop support for old versions of .NET. What I have often told people is I will only commit to supporting something as long as Microsoft is supporting it. So once it hits end of life, I make no guarantees that I will support it. However, as long as the older versions of .NET aren't being painful to me, meaning I can still compile for them, SDKs, all that jazz, great. I probably don't kill off support without a reason. Once that changes, well, then we start killing things. Let's see here. Okay, so we have this. I want to go look at the tests, which are not there. I wish there was an easier way to go from PR review of PR review into the relevant changes. Let's see. Test the icon property, because what exactly did this thing do? Icon background is asking for a friend. Let's see. So you mean my app can be 10, but MDX can stay at 9? Can one update MDX to the 10 version before updating the app? Yes. So the idea here is multi-targeting. So the way it works is inside of my CS proj, I multi-target to different frameworks. When you pull in the NuGet package, it means that there are multiple copies of the material design DLLs sitting in the lib folder of the NuGet package. The NuGet restore then picks the DLL from these that best matches your app. So if you go net 10, you're going to end up picking up the net 8 Windows version of mine. And for example, you'll note I didn't have to rev this to 9 because there wasn't really a need to do so. Right? Like the other thing that's worth noting, .NET, let's see, 10 LTS. What is the there is 10. They changed a date on net 10, and I want to find the official docs on what it is, because before they had this will work well enough. So this is the support end date stuff for what is in support. So you'll note net 8 stays in support all the way until November 10th of next year. So I'm not planning on killing it here, but you'll note net 9 dies the same day. So that'll be exciting. And then net 10 is out till 2028, off to the races. And what I was looking for is so the long-term support patches for 3 years, standard term support patches for 2 years. So it does mean that you're going to run into this situation where people who are unable to update consistently, because updating your framework is a major undertaking for one reason or another at where you're at. Most of the time they're going to just be doing the LTS versions. They're going to have 3 years, but you'll see here there's this overlap of a year in the middle to give you that kind of scheduling window to go through and work, because some people can't do it. Didn't STS used to be 1.5 years? Yes. I don't remember if it was 1.5 years or not, but Microsoft did just recently increase this duration, because before it was really short. I think it was 1.5 and 2 or something like that. I don't remember the exact time frame, so don't quote me on that. This is what it is today. So it is worth calling out that you do have some period of time. So I'm not going to kill anything. I will probably add a net 10 target to the material design project. One, just because then I have it, and I'm not trying to scramble at all next year. But what will probably happen is I'll have a net 10 and a net 8 both in the NuGet package, and then at some point the net 8 will just drop off. Again, I'm not going to kill, November 11th, I'm not dropping net 8 support. But as soon as the SDKs are no longer easily available on the GitHub runners and that kind of thing, it's now it's costing me time to support this. Kick, right? I'm not gonna spend time supporting something that Microsoft isn't going to support from. However, I'm going to point this out. Hero devs, I don't think I've talked too much about them for anybody interested. So for anybody interested in, if you are on an older thingy of various natures, Hero devs do offer what they call never-ending support, NES. I always chuckle because I always think of the old Nintendo system. But they do have support for a lot of different frameworks, right? .NET, they can't do old framework because that stuff wasn't open sourced, but Net 6 is open sourced. So they can build this. And you can see they've got a whole bunch of other languages and frameworks, Next.js, Angular, Bootstrap, Vue, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if, the way they put it to me at one point, which I really like, is this is morphine for a problem, not vitamins, right? The long-term solution for most people is you probably migrate your apps to a newer thing, right? But sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes it's out of support, and sometimes there's critical security patches that you need. In those cases, they can offer you a patched version of whatever you're already on for a fraction of the cost of what it would be to migrate. So if that is interesting to people, Hero Devs is awesome. They're a pretty cool company. I've met a number of their employees, and they're just a lot of fun. So if you see them at a conference or something, say hi. Like, they usually absolutely kill it. Their marketing team is top notch. Okay, so back to the question of, do we keep these chip tests? Because the user asked if I would be interested in comprehensive tests for the library. The question is I'm not entirely sure that these tests add a value is my problem. Because these tests are effectively pinning tests. And this is one of those areas where it's possible that there's a bug, right? Like, it is not uncommon for somebody when creating a dependency property to like muck up the default value. The thing is, it's kind of rare. And it's rare that it gets past anything with my UI tests involved. And these are literally just testing the dependency properties. Like, it's testing the name of the property, which should always be using name of. Striker to test the test. Yeah, no, you are not wrong, Izzy. You are not wrong at all. It's I don't know, like, and validating that the assignment of the property work, like, I feel like it takes me longer to read these tests than to read the code. This test, however, when delete button clicked, event is raised. This is slightly more interesting to me. Wait a minute. Let's see. This creates a list, registers the event handler, grabs the visual child, clicks the button, and verifies. It doesn't even click the button, though. It simulates it by raising the click event on the button. See, this is not a... Let me rephrase. This is not a bad test, but this probably should be a UI test if we cared. Delete command. When delete button clicked, command is executed. Again, not a bad test, but something I would argue should be done, because this is the other problem, is this ignores the templating of the controls. When can execute returns false, command is not executed. I'm trying to look at what this... Like, it's literally testing this functionality here. Yeah, and this is where it's like, I don't think this is... Because you'll note it had to call apply default style, which I think is my own extension method, if I remember right. Yeah, because it hunts out the right style for the given type and pulls it back. But visibility is controlled by the style. Yeah, see, this is... Yeah, I think we reject this. Again, I think the hardest part of maintenance on an open source project isn't the code writing, it's the review of stuff. So... Okay. Is this a... I'm trying to decide if this is a real person. Let's look. Is this a real person? Committed 26 commits and 14 repositories. That's a lot. Oh. We incentivize open source contributions. Oh boy. This concerns me greatly. Yeah. Yeah, like I get what they're going for. This scares me. This scares me a great deal. So I think it's a real person using their own AI tool. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up killing some of these off. Where are the PRs in question? Hoping to find where the author matched, because it should have been ABC. Oh, I guess I can type. Let's just look. Because I don't know why. Looks good, thanks. Yeah, I'm a little hesitant. This gives me a. This is setting off Spidey sense, and I don't know that adds value. Distribution. However, for most of the controls, we do the testing through the UI test framework, XAML test. We'll see, because if it is a human who wants to actually contribute, I don't want to nix that, because part of this library is trying to get people to contribute to open source, and so I don't want to kill that if it's actually a person wanting to be helpful. Project is UI tests. Ensures that the WPF templates and styles also are tested, rather testing the role. Okay. We're going to put that there. I'm going to put this on the waiting on feedback, because this will also put it in the stale queue to have it die at some point. So they can either come back and address it. Okay. Mouse over radio buttons, visuals. Let's see. So before, okay, so that's there. Let me check. I think the Material Design 3 has the same thing, doesn't it? Let me see here. So let's see. So there is hover, focused, and pressed. Yes. And I think, let me duplicate this, because I think Material Design 3 does the exact same thing. I think. Oh, hoping it would just drop me right there. Let's see. Is it toggles? Is that what it's called? Switches? Switch. Specs. And this guy should be, yep. Hovered icon. That's the color. What I'm interested in is show me the state. There we go. There's the states. So hover is 2. So this is only true for the material design 2, but they do use the little hand icon for 3. Okay. Good. Let's check the change. Okay, so cursor hand. I am curious. It did show hand there. Yep. And this is the right way to do it, is doing it with a setter on the style. This way, any app engineer who does not like the hand cursor, they can either make a derived style, they can set it directly on the control, they can override it if they want. Let's see here. Let's see, ellipse. Render transform with height. Opacity. The one thing that's getting me is I'm seeing this hard-coded, and I'm wondering if that's going to bite us. But we'll see. Interaction, hover, opacity. That's probably correct. I might need to check the usage of that constant, but I think that actually tracks. Okay, so this is hard-coded. So that is pretty close. That is pretty close. Let's check it out. We're going to go here. Oh, I kind of want to keep the global.json there for the moment. Let's take a look. And then we go here. And I'm just interested in launching it because... what? Unable to locate the .NET SDK. Oh, boo! Okay, so apparently I need to install an updated SDK. We'll just discard the global.json for now, and then we're gonna rev this sucker up. But people like Nikolai and Corvins, who contribute significantly to the library and on the maintainers list, they get priority for review of PRs. If you're one of the maintainers, you should have priority. That just feels right. Especially since I think Corvins has more PRs merged into this library than anyone else this year. I'm fairly confident. I haven't run numbers yet, but I should check. I don't know why I have a breakpoint there. Great, send it. Okay, so I want to look at the toggles. Toggle. And then down here. Okay, so the question is that the right size is the question. Is that the right size? So I'm noticing the halo here on the hover. The outer edge of the halo basically extends all the way to the edge of the switch. I think it was slightly smaller in the spec. Yeah, it's slightly less than that. So here we can see that the edge of the switch actually sticks out. So I think the halo is a little big compared to the spec, but I don't know that the spec actually calls out how big it's supposed to be. 20 there, 36 wide. So I mean, that gives us an idea of where it would be, because you figure if the entire width of this thing is 36, this thing is 20 pixels in diameter. That means you're 10 in there. I guess now I'm wondering, does the button overhang the track or not? I don't remember. Regardless, I think the halo needs to shrink down a little bit to be more in line with this. Right? And I'm going to just zoom in here, because this one I think is easier to see. So the edge of the halo basically should go to right about where the rounded corner of the track stops. That's the target size. Okay. So we got that. Let's go to actually this guy. Toggle button. Let's go here. Let's go themes, and let's go toggle button. Then we're gonna go break everything. Get me my halo. Get me my halo. And then this guy here was 442. Okay, so let's dial this down to maybe 20 and see what that looks like. And then I think we can hit the... Oh, does it not have... I was thinking the hot reload was in here. Oh, that's something I should have mentioned. What's new in WPF in Net 10? WPF got an update in Net 10. I know, shocking. We are in 2025 and WPF has a page, right? So one, lots of performance improvements. So if you just want your WPF app to run faster, rev to that. That's cool. Fluent style changes. These are nice, but if you're using the material design library, not overly relevant. Right, clipboard changes, not a big deal. Binary formatter was marked obsolete in Net 9. You probably shouldn't have been using it anyway. Really the solution is JSON serialize or otherwise, if that's what you're trying to do. I don't know that this was a real common thing, because most of the time when you're using the clipboard, you're trying to put something on there that can be pasted elsewhere, right? Handful of minor bug fixes, not a big deal. Cleaned up some dead code, great. Message box got an API update, right? So now it's like, this looks cool, but I think this is actually just getting it on par with WinForms. So that is cool. There was one more around. I thought there was one more around content controls. Am I making that up? The release announcements. I thought there was one more in the... Where is... let's see. Windows forms, type editors. I thought there was one. Maybe I'm misremembering what I thought I read. I thought there was one around content control. Oh, this one here. The recognizes access key. This is a nice one. This is what I was thinking of with the content presenter. So for people who leverage access keys, if you see me ever put like an underscore in one of the what looks like a text field as a way of doing it. For example, if you watch these menus at the top, when I hit Alt, you'll note you get the underline up here. These are the accessor keys, right? So if I do Alt B, it hits the build menu, right? So it's just a quick way of being able to access. Often menus and buttons are the common controls that will have accessor keys, but you could specify them in other places. So there's that as well, for what it is worth. Did we launch? I don't think we relaunched. Okay, let's go back and try this again. We just want to see this guy go. I do want to check as well, because seeing that this is primary light, it's probably okay given what this guy is doing. I just want to make sure. I don't think we have any toggles that theme outside of this. But it'll be... Yeah, because those ones there. So that there. I can probably go a couple bigger, because that's not quite to the edge of the edge of the track. So let's bump that up just a hair bigger. So we went from 25 down. Let's go to 22. So all I want to do is see that halo go right about to where the rounded edge of the track is. Okay, and then we will have... And don't worry, Izzy, I'm not going to release a new version of the library on you just yet. Let's see here. How's that? That looks pretty close. That looks pretty close. Okay, I agree with that. We're just going to dial down the size just a little bit because I think that's a little closer in line. Actually, I should probably... I think this size is a bit closer to what the spec shows. Great. So even though material design is a spec, there's a lot of stuff in it that is left up to interpretation and individual implementations of the library. Things like that, where even though this library aims to faithfully implement the material design spec as best we can, but there is a level of interpretation. Let's see, enable auto merge, and I'll go put my review on it. So we can do, there we go. Okay, so there's that. Okay, do we merge in the other one? I think we might just merge the other one just to make it go in. And it's this one here. I'm gonna let that go. Okay, so we're gonna approve workflow and run. And then I think I'm gonna let this one merge only because I want to, I think I want to leverage some of this library because this is basically just projects making it in. They aren't actually being leveraged outside of it yet. So we're gonna let this guy come in, and while that's going, let's go do some net 10 stuff with this. Okay, so step one, we need to find out which version I put on the which version I got here. So let's go .NET -- list SDKs. I think I got net 10. Yeah, good. So I believe latest version of Visual Studio 2026 should get you the release build of net 10 as of this week. I think. If you don't have it, run .NET list SDKs just to confirm. Right? We got it. That's great. Okay, step one. We are going to go solution items, global.json, and we are going to go 10.0.100 is the new requirement for compiling this app. Okay. So all this has done is bump the tool chain to using the net10 SDK. So I now have access to all of the new tools, which is cool. All right. Here in a minute, we're gonna go bump some other stuff and see how it goes. Boy, my machine is really dragging tonight, and I don't know quite what is hogging up everything. All memory related, and it is one of my browsers. Let's see, late comment here. If Halo was off on toggle, maybe Slider suffered the same. Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. I recall Halo being cut off on Slider when I used it at one point. That's what made me think of it. Yeah, we may have fixed. We'll go check it here. Because I just want to make sure I can launch after revving my SDK. I think Slider got fixed because Slider also has and I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's a pop-up for showing the value of the slider, and there was a lot of debate that we had back and forth about what the default should be. Yeah, so the hover on that one is there. So I think slider's fine. It was I think we probably added it to slider. Yeah, this little bit here. Right. I think we added it to slider and probably forgot toggle. So I think same problem, only in reverse, and several months ago. Let's see here. Oh, it's my GitHub tab that is chewing most of my memory. Lovely. So we're going to just cover some of these down. Let's see. Did this one also fix the set environment? To more flexible minor version. Wait, what did you do? You jerk. You absolute jerk. I mean, that's fine, but sometimes, Copilot, I did not ask you to do that. Okay, so it fixed those. I don't think this is the right syntax, but we'll see. Okay, did it? It probably needs my permission to rerun. Okay, let's prove workflows to run. We'll let that thing go. And we're off to the races. Okay, so that gets me there. Okay, did we launch? I thought I launched. Oh, no, we did launch because I went and looked at the slider. Duh. Okay, so we can compile and run with net 10. Huzzah. That gets me somewhere. I just want to make sure that my my build stuff is all doing the same checkout that I showed before. Let's see. So it's under my build artifacts. Ooh, it's not. Oh, I can't do it with the use global.json because I have specific needs to have multiple .NET versions. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, so we're going to just bring in 10.x because that is going to be there. I really... Why do I indent 2 spaces? Hey, Copilot, come here. Create new thread. Fix the indentation of this file to only be 2 spaces rather than 4. There's an easy task. Go figure it out. Okay, so that'll get me to there. Let's go see about bringing in... Let's give us a net 10 target here. And we're going to just give ourselves one more version. That's going to go there. We're going to do this one. The tests I always just test on latest because the number of bugs that I've had where latest is insufficient is almost nil. So we do that. Let's see. And we'll multi-target here. Because there's been almost 0 bugs that have been framework dependent. And then we might go grab Benjamin's tool as well, just to have it in our pipeline, which would be nice. Let's see here. You finished, Copilot? Probably should have left you open where I can keep an eye on you. Let's see, what'd you do? Looks valid. Okay. We'll know in a minute when we push and it falls over. Okay, so that gets me to there. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna just multi-target all of these too, because I don't see a reason not to. Again, I think probably around January 2027, we might start looking at the net 8 dropping or something, but well, we'll see. Okay, resource generation, this can just be net 10. This one, frankly, could have been net 9 a while back. What's your problem here? Unsupported utility. Material color utilities test. Huh? Oh, target frame works. Yeah, shut up. I know, you're unhappy. Get over yourself. Let's see. That's fine. Okay. Do we compile with the new stuff? I hope we do. And then I want to make sure I bump my Lang version up. So I usually am an advocate of manually controlling your Lang version. Some people would argue that the global.json is sufficient. I don't fully like that, especially if it's allowed to roll forward enough. And some people, like, you can set language to things like latest or preview. The only thing I don't like about that is then I get different behavior on different machines. So Buildbox might do something different. Let's see. Yeah, that is not there. Oh, and look at this. We can start pruning package. Oh, I'm so happy now. I'm so happy. Let's do a full rebuild. I think it just needs its OBJ directory torched. Net 10 is here. Okay, so let's see here. Install dependencies. What did you fail on? See, this is what I oh, this is not the material design one. Let's see. Install dependencies. What did you squawk at? So the install dependencies didn't work. We might have to go back and figure out what is problem there. Let's just grab it. We're just gonna show me the XAML. Just gonna grab this branch and go powwow on it for a minute. And we're gonna let Copilot just kind of have its way with it. Give me VS Code. We'll let VS Code and Copilot go to town there. Let's see. Bring you over. Why does this thing have a console app 1? Did I just... Oh, I just probably accidentally left something around. Yeah. Squash. Don't care. And then install dependencies. The version... NuGet restore. That's what failed? What the heck? Which package did you not find? Which package were you unable to locate? Yeah, sure. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take you, and I like my Sonnet 4.5, and we're gonna say actually, let's bring the pipeline in. We are working on updating this project's dependencies and build pipeline. Get it building and make any changes needed to dependencies and pipeline YAML. Okay, I'm gonna let Copilot think about that for a minute. And while it's thinking about its life and considering everything that's done, okay, I think we're launching. I think we have a Net 10 build. Huzzah! I'm very happy about this. Oh boy. You want to slow your computer down, start running coding agents. That's a decent chunk of resources just gone. Sorry, I've got my task manager open on the other window, and I'm just watching my memory and disk start chugging. Okay. So, not shocking. Net 10 works just fine for us. So, let's go back here, and we are going to... We don't need that one, but we do want to go here. I want to kind of clean up some of these remotes here real quick, too. Some of these I haven't had to launch in a while, so we're going to clean that one up. Clean that one up. I've got too many of these. I collect remotes a little too much. some point I just declare bankruptcy and torch them all. Let's see what's below O. Anything? Nope. Okay, because we can get these back as needed. It's 2 clicks. It's 2 clicks. Okay, so let's go here, and we're gonna go net 10, and let's just make sure that this thing compiles on the pipeline. That's why my new laptop will have 198 gigs of RAM, 48 cores. Oh my word. 4 times 8 terabytes of NVMe disks. Oh yes. That is the dream. At some point I do need to rev this machine up because I built this machine. When was it? It was a few years before COVID. So might have been 2018 maybe. Might be able to run a few agents then, and a couple instances of VS Code. Don't sell yourself short, Izzy. You got to be able to run at least 2 instances. I will say there was a cool demo that got shown off on .NET Conf on the launch speed of VS 2026. It felt a little apples and oranges to me, but they showed launching VS 2026 and VS Code side by side with almost identical launch times. Now, the slight difference is that they were launching both into a clean, empty state, versus VS Code often is launching into the contents of a file or a directory. And that's not really this, like, you can do that with Visual Studio, but it's not really like the amount of time to being productive as you normally are in the tool is a little different because Visual Studio takes a few more clicks still, whereas VS Code, you're often like there and going. So it's like, yeah, like, don't get me wrong, the performance improvements are awesome, and it is exceptional that they are launching at the same speed. It's just time to productivity and time to launch aren't always the same measurement. Let's see, only going to cost me 6,500 British pounds. Yeah. See, my machine did not cost me. My machine cost me 1 fewer digit than what you have there when I initially built it, because I paid in the hundreds, not in the thousands for it. I will say it's been a nice little machine. Okay, so that's off and going, and that'll get us rocking and rolling. And if this guy passes, we're gonna auto merge. And frankly, I think if we get past the build stage, we're probably in good shape, because it's unlikely that net 10 is going to have any significant impact on any of the tests. I don't think. I think it's probably pretty simple. Okay, well, that's thinking about its life. We wanted to show me the XAML stuff. Let's check in on what my good agent friend is doing there. Oh man, I've got like 4 instances running. Let me start shutting some of these down. That'll probably give me... Oh, look at that. That gave me back some RAM. There we go. Okay. Let's see. So what did you do? You were asking for permission to do what? Yeah, sensitive file editing? Sure. Great. Send it. Why are we even changing the build SDK? I am so confused. Though it doesn't show it as a net new. Time for birthday cake and coffee. Check Discord. Which one should I eat for? Oh boy, what did you do, Izzy? Oh, you've got pretty... Oh, that looks delectable, Izzy. I mean, if it's me... So, here. Spoiler. I'm gonna share. If it's me, I mean, I'm going this one first, because that looks like some sort of like chocolate cheesecake something or another on there, and that looks delectable. I will say though, I have a high bar for cheesecake. My father-in-law makes several of them throughout the year, usually like my wife's birthday, Christmas, Thanksgiving, those types of things, and they are always exceptional. So I love cheesecake, but I love good cheesecake. I'll put it that way. There's something about if it's garbage cheesecake, that's no bueno. Okay. You are really having fun with this. Replace string and file. Now update the projects to use net 8. What were we running before? We weren't on net 8? Millionaire shortbread. Ooh. It really is Christmas for you, isn't it? Oh, Netcore app 3.1. Yeah, that ain't gonna compile no more. That ain't gonna compile no more. Yeah, let's get this guy up to modern.net. I apparently haven't updated this guy in a while, if that's what we're talking about. Because this, for people who are unfamiliar with this, show me the XAML library. This is what the demo app in the material design project uses when you are clicking on it to see what the XAML is inside the demo app. It's this. Now let me try to restore the solution. Good Copilot. Do your thing, right? Let's see. Let me fix the Avalon edit version and check the MS Build extras. Great. Okay, I need to just like turn YOLO mode on. Needs a workload installed for mobile targets. Can I just, yeah, allow in this session. You are weapons free, buddy. Let's see, a pizza for lunch and dinner. See, that does not sound like a bad birthday. Also, happy birthday, Izzy. Because we are YOLOing this. If it works, we send. Like the proof is in the pudding. Okay, so that merged. Net 10 is coming shortly, which will be good. And let's just make sure. Oh, we did die a very, very horrible death. Theme assist trigger brush cannot be because it does not have an accessible. Okay, so we need to clean up some of this stuff. So let's rebase our net 10 onto here, and then I guess I probably should have checked the build output before I got too carried away. Because that is one of the other things that will bite you when you rev your net framework versions, is you will pick up you'll pick up extra analyzers that maybe previously weren't there, and so code that was fine is now getting flagged. Well, it's not that your code is somehow like worse, but it's like it wasn't being caught before and now it is being caught. So, you know, let's see. Good progress. The build mostly succeeded, but there's an issue with the NuGet package wrench tool. Tool exists. Let me restore it and check the actual error. I think we can always allow exec command line. I think I'm comfortable letting you always run .NET tool restore. There's only so much trouble you can get yourself into with that. Almost time for a midlife crisis. Sadly, don't earn enough to buy a Porsche sports car. Or posh sports car. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay, we're engineers. I'm sure you'll find something else very expensive that's roughly $6,500 to have a midlife crisis and buy. Hypothetically speaking. I'm trying to remember why I was using the package wrench. If I remember, so the NuGet package wrench was a nice CLI tool for manipulating versions inside of NuGet packages, and I think I was using it to manipulate the version of the NuGet package post build, but we might be able to just clean this up. So instead, I'm going to write a new library and a few laptops to use as servers. Without the pack step, the issue is with the post-pack target. Let me disable and pack explicitly. Yeah, I'm curious what we were doing with the post-pack target. We should clean that up. Clean that up. So what was it doing with the package wrench? Oh, it was changing the dependency package version. I think this I don't think is necessary anymore. I think we can I think we can just do this with .NET Pack directly. This was a issue like way back in the Netcore 3.1-ish era. I don't think this level of hackery is necessary. We can probably just burn it to the ground. Okay, you happy now? Did you do your thing? Okay, so let's see what we got here. What new exciting things has Net10 brought us? Let's see. System text regular expressions will not be pruned. Consider removing this from your package dependency. Great. Happy to remove packages. That is great. Net HTTP. Effectively, these were likely brought in to mitigate minimum version things that now that we are using a newer tooling are no longer relevant. This is out of place. Let's see here. Microsoft, let's see. B comes before C. All right, which one were you flagging? System text, system net. HTTP, that one. Let's see. Silly question. How well does WPF work with AOT? It doesn't. It doesn't. There's a handful of things around the AOT stuff that WPF was never designed to handle, and I don't know if it ever will. Often, if you're wanting AOT, you're better off cutting over to something like Avalonia or Uno, or Maui, but I like my Avalonia and Uno better than that. Just as a way of getting that. A lot of it comes because of its old reflection-y based stuff and trying to ahead of time compile that down. There's just a lot inside of the old tool chain that is not ready for AOT. So that is one of the things that is both good and bad about WPF, because it's got such a well-built presentation core. Like, that's nice, but it's stable, but it takes a lot to rev all the things. Let's see. Why did it flag this one? Why is it still flagging these ones? Oh, because I have both of these in here. We don't need these in here anymore. Let's see. WPF tests. Those ones don't need it in there. Yeah, well, and the generics are one of the big ones for their dependency properties, because generics were being built at the same time WPF was, so that it wasn't there for them to build on. Okay, I think those are just dependent packages being flagged. I think we got those. Oh, no, I didn't get those too. Okay, fine. Compiler's right. I'm wrong. Okay. Finish your building, and then let's see. What are you yelling about, Copilot? Yeah, sure. Clean. Oh, I probably should have added .NET Clean to the allowed thing. Again, there's a handful of commands that I'm more comfortable letting the AI run. There's only so much trouble it can get itself into running things like .NET Clean. It's like, yeah, sure, it can do some badness. I guess here it's doing a clean and then a rebuild. Yeah, go ahead and monitor that. Look at that. Excellent. Everything is working fine. Let me create a quick summary of changes. Great. I don't actually care. MS, build the path. Those things don't matter. Oh, man, this stuff was using old MS build, .NET Pack. We didn't need the Uno stuff. Okay, great. Okay, so that gets me all to there. That gets me all to there. Great. Okay, so we're going to just don't let it run git commit. Yeah. There's a handful I think I've put on my allow list, like a git status or git log or similar. But yeah, I'm not letting it run a git push that sounds bad, right? Even get clean can be potentially scary if used in the wrong context. It's like, maybe we don't let it. It should ask before it does those. Like, I don't mind if it asks first. Okay, so let's see. Compile working. Great. Okay, so we got that much going. Thank you, Copilot. Let's see here. Where did you end on the pack problem? Okay, disable generate package on build now using explicit pack step. So that's fine, but I don't think I want that. Okay. Let's clean up the just gonna copy this. Let's clean up the NuGet package wrench usage. It was only there to work around old limitations when building multiple dependent NuGet packages. Make sure when building the packages they end on the version specified in the pipeline. Yeah, figure it out, Copilot. Do the thing, make the packages work. Yeah, go figure yourself out. Okay. Why are you still flagging this? Thought I got rid of all of you. UI tests. Am I blind or stupid? System text regular expressions. System text. That's all fine. That's all fine. Oh, it still exists here. You're unhappy about those. Okay. A little misleading showing them on the wrong project. What do you need? Let's see. Can I do .NET Clean? Yeah, we'll let you have .NET Clean powers. That I am comfortable giving you .NET Clean powers. I will say I do tend to set my agents up not in full YOLO mode, but something more closer to it, because I get very annoyed having to stop and approve and approve and approve, because sometimes the proof is in the pudding. Like, I'm going to go back and look at this at the end when I've squashed all these things together. Let's see. Now let's verify the package dependency. NuGet Package Explorer Global Tool. Yeah, that's fine. There you go. Let me use a simpler PowerShell command. Really? You didn't think that was easy? Which made the package. Let's see. Another silly question. No such thing. Have you ever built a .NET app through Yocto build route for an embedded device? So much fun. Ooh, no, I haven't. I have not. In fact, Yocto is... Something about this is hitting my head like I've seen this before. Oh, yes, I think I had a colleague send this to me. Because I had a colleague that was very much into IoT stuff. Yeah, think he must have sent this to me at some point. This is looking very familiar, like I've briefly looked at this before. This is kind of cool. But no, I have not done so. What are you building with it? Are you using it for the Enigma stuff? Or is this just something fun for work and or fun for you? Let's see, what are we doing? MS build package has no dependency as expected. It's a build tool. The Avalon edit correctly depends. So let me check that. Great. Perfect. Now let's run a final test, make sure everything still works. Did it remove the global tool? It doesn't look like it has. Oh, it did. Okay, good. Great. That is more like what we wanted. Thank you, Copilot. You've been a wonderful help. Now go away. Let me have my fun. Okay. Let's see. Let's see here. We're going to go move, NuGet, package, wrench. Okay, there. Something of that nature. Does this NuGet package have, I think it has a package icon, but let me just check. If it doesn't, I'm going to let Copilot do something. Does it have one? Oh, you got to spell correctly. Like, it's my own package. I know it's there. No package icon. Okay, thanks. Generate me a NuGet package icon. Make it relevant to XAML and viewing the XML. Great. Go, Copilot, go. Let me create an SVG icon and convert it to PNG. Interesting way of doing it. Okay, so that is cleaned up there, and that got all of those build things done. Now, I am curious why this thing built after I did that, but then this one failed with an I wonder if this build is lying to me because the warnings... Oh, probably because I have warnings as errors on the pipeline, and so the base projects failed to compile, so it didn't get to the top ones. I bet you that's the issue. Okay, so let's go back here, here. Hey, Kraken, generate me a commit message. Let's see, bit of both, mainly work, but looking at having Raspberry Pi and Enigma to do the runtime config of the rotors, and key mapping, also add the ability to run encodings of files, plus the app you're doing can go on there too. Yeah. I will say that is, I was just given an extra Raspberry Pi from a buddy who didn't know what it was and didn't care, which worked out great for me. But I want to like load up like a little Raspbian thing or something. I don't know what I'm going to use it for yet. It may end up just being a Pi hole or something, but I need something. Let's see. Thinking of putting a screen on inside of the lid so it also has a computer. Of course, because you can't make it too easy. Okay, the next thing, while that guy's chugging, we'll check over here. I mean, we're going to allow, but I'm going to pause you. I like that icon. The details are very small. Let's come up with something a bit more minimalistic. There. Do something different. Think about what you've done. Okay, while you are busy thinking about what you've done, we are going to go over here to... Okay, so there is a fancy new thing called SLNX for people who saw it before. I held off upgrading some stuff to it because there is a handful of things that aren't fully supported on the tooling, but I don't believe any of them exist here. .NET, what is it? SLN, there we go. So .NET SLN migrate, generate an SLNX from an SLN file. That's what we want. SLN migrate. This is how hard it is. Okay, so now we're going to close this down, and then we're going to go test it. Actually, I guess what we can do is this. We can just go Explorer, and then feed it a period for the current directory. Launch. And now you'll see we've got both side by side, an SLNX and an SLN. And as long as the SLN launches and does everything for me, I just want to validate its conversion. The big advantage here is the SLNX. And actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll open up both of these in VS Code, just so we can do them kind of side by side. Show more options. Where's my VS Code? Grumble, 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 grumble. What? Okay. Code, launch. There we go. That's all I want. I just want this. Okay. Collapse. Okay, so here is the difference between, so SLN, this is the old format. This is what people have had, and you know, there's GUIDs and ugliness all over the place. And then there's SLNX. Pretty, wonderful, calm, nice. This is effectively the solution version of the project file change that we got a few years ago, several years ago now, where we got the project SDK. So for example, if we look at any of the CS projects, you know, these used to be big and ugly too. And now they are nicer and clean and warm and fuzzy. And now our solution files can be the same way. So there's a handful of things here, just bringing in the relevant files, project dependencies. Some of the stuff we can probably clean up and get out. But at least now solution files don't have to be complete garbage when it comes to like merge conflicts, which is why I merged that other project first, because I didn't want to deal with it. So let's see here. What do you... That looks better. Yeah. Perfect. I've created a minimalist icon. Right, we can keep this. Let's see. Let's see how it looks, or you need to convert it to... Yes, please set it up to be used as the NuGet package icon. Do it, Copilot. I'm very close to being productive. Or at least you're being productive. Okay, so there's that. The one thing I want to do here is I want to come into my build stuff, because in here, I think all I have to do is change this to an X. I think. Because I'm fairly confident all of my stuff is set up to look at that. I don't know that I have anything else pointed at SLN. Here's the answer is no. I just want to, I'm going to check it over here real quick, because I don't fully trust this one. Let's see, Copilot instructions. Yeah, see, this is why I didn't trust it. Let's see, SLN. Okay. Stop helping me, Copilot. You are actively making my life harder. I'm gonna put it in, and I don't want you to do it. Let's see here. And then this one here is the only other one that has it. Dang nabbit, stop. And let me just type. Okay. And that doesn't matter. Okay, so that should be fine. I'm a little surprised we didn't have anything in a README or similar, but that's okay. Okay. Let's check and see out on our build. I think we pushed before upgrading to SLNX. I just wanted to see if that run actually succeeded in getting past that or not. Nope, we didn't push anything. So we're gonna... Oh, we did push something. Removes redundant package version. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. Let's also blow away the SLN file. That's gone. You'll also note it's significantly smaller, so you know that's a nice perk. And then push that. It will mean that people will need to have the updated tooling to be able to support this. But SLNX is supported on 2026. It's supported on VS22 if you are on a reasonably latest version. If you're on a slightly older version, it's behind a preview feature flag. And if you're older than that, you probably just need to upgrade your tooling. Okay, so we're going to let that guy rock and roll. How did you do, Copilot, on giving me an icon? Okay. No? What are you trying to do here? I need to convert. Let me use a PowerShell script to do this. I'm sorry. You wanted to do what? Probably should have read this. Oh, dear heavens, Copilot. No. No, 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 no. Oh, dear heavens. No, 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 no. What is the idea, the resolution needed for a NuGet package icon? We are not... What? Okay. Just... no, don't cancel. Find... We're going to hit keep for the moment so I don't lose anything. Find a .NET global tool to convert the image. I think there's like an image magic global tool or something. Yeah, do something of that nature. Like, dear heavens, we are not going to write a bunch of WinForms code in C# just to convert Skia converter. Great. Probably should have looked at who the author was before blindly running a command line tool. Great. So it parsed the output, set the thing. Verify it was created and test the build with the icon. Great, great, great. Do the needful. Yeah, upgrade tooling. Fine for someone not in a Faraday cage whose shiny new OS is Windows XP. That is true. That is true. But correct me if I'm wrong, Izzy. You often aren't trying to compile the library from source. I think most people who are compiling from source, because I know I've put in the README a while back that the expectation of anyone who wants to compile from source is that we use modern tooling. Let me try a simpler check. Okay. Copilot. This is not a check. Like... I mean, sure, but that's not... Like... Perfect, I've successfully... Copilot, 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 Copilot. You so silly. You're so silly. Like, this is the watch you like a hawk moment. Let's just go look at what you did, because I trust you, but not that much. Okay. So we have a PNG that looks pretty good. It looks like kind of what I would expect. We've got a none include icon, a package icon, everything's set there. That looks like what I would expect, right? That looks like what I would expect there. I do want to, well, maybe not. We'll leave it as it sits for now. Great, great, great. That seems fine. What is this? Oh, because it bundles in as the tool. Okay, great. Stage, sure. Despite its checking, it appears to have done the right thing. I don't fully trust it, but you know, we're gonna build a package, and given that I am literally the consumer of this package, I think we'll be okay. Okay, so there we are. We are off to the races and running. Okay, what did you fail on my Net 10 upgrade? Compilation is still failing. Okay, we are getting these. We are getting them slightly awkward build ones, but I don't understand why. So when in doubt, always look at the first one. Theme Assist Theme Trigger Brush cannot be set because it does not have an accessible setter. I understand what that's saying. I do not understand why it thinks that. So yes, Trigger Brush is an internal member. Is there a breaking? Okay, let's do this. WPF GitHub. Let's just briefly gander over here. Is there a bug? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Well, there's a fun one. And it's basically going to screw over library authors. Excellent. Lovely. Yeah, WPF UI is getting hosed by the same thing. Does not have an accessible setter. So, well, the good news is it's not my fault. The bad news is it no worky. That is very, very, very disappointing. Okay, well, step one, we're subscribing to this issue. Excellent. You know how I was commenting earlier about how stable WPF is? Let's just see. I want to read this person's description because they're referencing the MS build targets, which means they've probably debugged this a bit. Note that both are internal. If both or even just the set method are changed to public, the bug disappears. And of course, we can and will do that in the code base. I don't know that I can't. Well, I can, sure, but will? That's debatable. The problem is that we have a large code base with many branches and blah, blah, blah. This is somewhat complicated, and I have not experienced similar regressions when building in the past with newer SDKs. Let's see. The error happens in the markup compile pass to target in the identically named markup compile pass to target from how does it work? I can try to reduce this if need be. Yeah. I have a strange suspicion I know exactly what happened. I have a suspicion. I have a theory. Let's go a splunking. This is one of the fun issues when you have a lot of things. Oh, there's the announcement change. There you go. Is there anybody looking for the support? Is supported for 3 years. Yeah. So this was November 11th. I think this is what I remember seeing. No, maybe not. There was a blog post about the change of the LTS version. I believe there was I thought there was something around the access modifiers, and that's what I was going to blame. But does not appear that that is the case. So on one hand, we're going to keep this branch, and we're going to go time to check git blame and find out why that got broken. Yeah, I do suspect. I'm surprised I'm seeing these build errors here and not on my local. So some of these are worth fixing. Oh wait, this isn't mine. Okay, that explains why I didn't see them locally. Let's see here. Okay, so and we're gonna grab this guy here. I don't remember what my build retention is set to, but hopefully long enough. Let's see. Also, I'm seeing this on the material design in XAML project. Is a blocker for, as this is a library, an app, changing these to public is not really an option. Okay. I could probably work around it. I'm just thinking, if the combination is net 8 targeting from the net 10 SDK, I could probably work around it by only compiling net 8 from the net 8 SDK and then only compiling net 10 from the net 10 SDK. Yuck. I could probably hack that around. I don't want to do that though. That is, and there's nothing that says I need to go to net 10 right now either, beyond me wanting it. I want it, so there we go. Okay, so this guy built and ran. Let's go here and let's just. Okay, so now it built and ran. We'll promote you to a real boy, and then let's go look over the changes. just to make sure it didn't do anything too crazy. So we cleaned up the tool, that we expect, good. Rev the package version, the environment variable change, I'm going to assume is correct, but we're going to double check it. Let's see here. .NET build, that guy there is leveraging the solution. Fine. We can let that slide. We may go rev him in a minute. Let's see, net 8. And honestly, I don't think this guy has any internals. Generate package on build is set to false. That's fine. I don't see a major issue here. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we don't need the build extras anymore because we were doing all kind, like when this project was initially done, I had to jump through some hoops to make the MS Build packaging stuff work right, and shockingly, they have made things a lot better since. What is this? Oh, this is needing the WPF ones. It dropped net standard and UWP. That's probably okay. For my purposes, I don't care. Let me just double check what my demo app is targeting, because I need this 472 and net 8. Okay, so as long as I've got those, we're good. Because this is a library that is largely built for me by me. So, you know. Global.json. I don't think we even need... I think we can change this global JSON to just match. I think we're going to just change it. Because there's no real reason to make this thing different. We're going to do here, and then let's go up to the setup.net. Let's see here. And why is it using that package version? I must be pushing up to GitHub artifacts. I don't remember why. Let's see. Use no IntelliSense. I must not get it. What is the magical incantation here? Oh, I can't do it here. Right. So I can't steal from this one. But I can go and steal from my other library. Here. We want that as my width at version 5. We come back here. Don't need this. Can delete that. Can delete that. Let's see. Available expression context. I think you're just lying to me. Okay. Context access might be invalid. I think you also are lying to me. And I think what we just saw is checkout is v5. And then sub.net is v5. Great. Okay. We're going to take this. I am going to grab a quick dependabot config, because I would like to get that added. Take that, push that, and then let's go grab from my templates. I've got a reasonable dependabot one that I like. I did make a recent change to this for anybody interested. Get my big head out of the way. I now have it grouping up all of the GitHub actions in one shot rather than splitting them out. I was somewhat tempted to group the NuGet package ones, but I wasn't entirely... I didn't know a good way to handle it. So, like, on one hand, it's like, well, I want it to to group, but I couldn't find a globbing pattern that I liked, at least at the template level. So there's probably one on a per project basis that would make sense. Let's see. And dependabot YAML goes at the GitHub folder. Yeah. So I needed to go here. Why you know open? Explorer. There we go. And then I'm going to put you into the GitHub folder. Paste. There we go. And now I have a dependabot thing in here. We're going to get rid of those. And then we're going to do that. And then I want to grab my auto merge thingy mabobber. We're going to get rid of the build Uno because the Uno guys, they took my repo and they did their own thing with it, which is fine. Like, that's what they should do. But they didn't want to take a dependency on me, which makes sense. And I need the task down here for autocomplete. Where is my autocomplete? There we go. I want you. You are a real boy now. We'll come back over here, come back in here. All right. There, we turn on auto merge. Get that guy to rock and roll. And then I just need to make sure that I have I need to make sure that I turn on autocomplete bits. Yeah, refresh. I need autocomplete bits for the repo, which are probably off because I don't think they existed. Like wiki, did I even put anything in this wiki? No. Turn the wiki off too. Wiki doesn't need to exist. Actually, this is not a bad idea. I think I can just grab one of those sponsor ones from one of my other ones, because we'll put that in. Okay, allow merge commits, no. Squash merging, rebase merging, allow auto merge. That's the key checkbox I was looking for, because that's what enables the coolness. Okay, and then we will have all of that. Let me go grab one of my sponsor ones from one of my other repos, because I think I've got a reasonable one. Oh, a nose plug is here. I should get rid of nose plug. That one doesn't need to exist. I think XAML test has a sponsor thing on it. Does it not? Boy, I really need to get better at doing this. Okay, this one has one, but it has Atom on here too. So we just want to get rid of that. Where is the sponsor file? Underneath GitHub. Funding YAML. That's what I'm after. I want one of these. I want one of these. Download. Thank you. And we're gonna cut that. And we're gonna come over here. And we're gonna go complete. And then we're gonna edit it. So it's just me. Sorry, Adam. You don't get to exist. There we go. So that goes like that. That goes like that. It goes like that. I want to check the base version should probably get revved to at least a minor version. Show me the XAML. Because we've already put out a version 2. Let's bump the version to 2.1. Get that guy up and going. Like, we don't have any major changes, but we are changing our base framework version. Okay, so there's all of that. That's all of that. Let's see, where did you get to on your build? Let's see, I don't think I need any of that. Let's go here. Let's see, here, pull requests. You failed on a build. What'd you fail on? Boom. Install dependencies. Let's see. SDK resolver could not resolve SDK build extras. Yeah, we killed all those. Did we miss some? Look at that, we missed one. That'll do it. Okay. So we want to change you up. Let's see here. I think we can just grab the regular build SDK. I don't think there's anything fancy that we need to be doing in here anymore. Because base SDK should be perfectly fine. I wonder if we even need this. I don't even think we do. There's probably a lot more that I could clean up in here, but let's not get too carried away. .NET build. Because they use WPF flag in the newer project SDK should handle most of it. Which it did. Not shocking. Let's see here. We don't need you. Oh, did that other one actually have something in it? I don't think it did. Show me the XAML generator tests. Wonder why you still exist. That's probably an accidental include. Get rid of you too. Okay, so let's just send all that up on top of it. Yeah, sure. Add in all the things. Then at some point I will SDK project this guy as well. I will say this: I have so many projects set up with this Dependabot. The one annoying thing is the lack of granularity on GitHub notifications, and I really need to find how to turn them off for Dependabot because I just get utterly spammed. It's always nice though of you seeing everything come in and fire off. Okay, unexpected inputs include pre-release. Oh, so include pre-release is no longer valid. Got it. So we should get rid of that. That makes me suspect that I've got a bug in my template as well. Let's go check that real quick because I think we leached that straight over from here. We did. And that is no longer a thing. So let's grab my templates repo and we're just going to keep rocking and rolling. Let's see here. Don't need that. Don't need that. I need this. And then give me VS Code again. Just gonna, let's see here. Find them. Oh, is it really only that one instance? Wow. Okay, well, that's disappointing. I am tempted to roll an update of this so that my templates have a new version pushed out there. Let's look. I probably should look at pushing an update. Let's do that. Don't know why, don't save. Apparently I had outstanding Copilot commands that I never included, but I don't want to bump them. So I believe just revving the version there sends it out the door. Let me just double check that. So this thing has, my templates have one of the coolest testing matrices out there. Yeah, skip duplicate. So a new version there revs it and sends it out the door. This is actually going to go live, assuming it passes. So this is actually kind of cool. We'll show this off real quick because I'm kind of proud of this. Like, I absolutely love my templates repository because it makes me feel like an utter mad scientist when this thing kicks off. Because you'll know it compiles, right? And that's not a big deal because it's a templates repository. It's building up a .NET template NuGet package. But once it builds the package, I go through and test all of my templates, and I don't quite test them in the way that they recommend. They've got a little bit of a testing SDK that's almost snapshotty testing-ish, which is good, but it doesn't give me as much confidence as I want. Specifically, I prefer to actually like fire it up, run .NET build, run .NET test, do the needful, right? So my tests are a little bit less about did it gen the exact code I expect and does the template work? Because I would rather the template work rather than spending time futzing with it. But once it gets through the build stage and it gets into this testing stage, you'll note these are all matrices, and it just goes. It's very cool. Makes me excited. Okay. So the good news is that thing worked, aside from the little bit that we had to turn off. Let's look at the show me the XAML. Did I push that change? Nope. So let's push that change, and that should make everything go away, and then should be able to build a new package release of this guy, which is cool. Get that one going. Update. Yeah, this. Tell me this isn't like, look at all of those tests going. It makes me so happy. I get so happy. Things that make you feel powerful. Running lots of little minions running tests on you. So the matrix the matrix build on this, each of the packages tests most common combinations of switches on there, because I have switches for picking different test frameworks, switches for SLN versus SLNX, and so it just validates that all of those things gen properly and that I see at least a minimum number of things out there. And this has caught me a handful of times on accidentally breaking stuff, so it's pretty cool. Though the Avalonia ones will take the longest for like the window or I think it's the Mac builds that are the slowest ones. Can't remember. But because these ones have extra workloads that they require, they generally take a little longer to run than some of my others, because, you know, iOS and MAUI workloads and whatnot have to install, it's one of those I've contemplated breaking this one from a matrix and just testing the builds individually rather than in separate jobs, because each job has to install the workload, which is kind of annoying, and I might be able to make them go faster by doing a single job, testing the switches serially, one at a time, because then the workload install would only need to be done once rather than a bunch of times in parallel. It's better for compute time. Whatever. It's not an overly long build regardless. So, new version of templates coming out. Okay, so back over to here on Show Me the XAML. This guy should have a new thing already built, rocked and rolled. We pushed the latest change. Yep. Great. Let's see. Did we validate all this stuff? Those all looked good. That looks good. That looks like what we would expect. Dependabot YAML we just added. Sponsor we just did. We changed that. global.json, 2 icons. PR looks good. Okay, thank you, Copilot. You've been very helpful. Okay, so we'll just modernize these packages. I will say the AI being able to do some of this boilerplate stuff has been kind of nice. Okay, so that should go through and fire. And then we are probably about to get Dependabot things kicking off left and right. And I think that's okay. I wanted to look really quick. What was my release trigger for this library? Because I've gone through so many... Well, this is the templates. Wrong one. Let's see, this one. What is my release triggers? On push, probably a tag. I bet you I probably set it up on a tag. Yeah, so it's gonna want me to push a tag. So if it's not a pull request, it pushes to NuGet. Oh, but it has the skip dupes. Got it. So it'll always push to NuGet, skipping dupes. The difference will be on the tag, it will leverage the tag version to pull through. Okay. Okay. That seems fine. Cool, Izzy. Have a good one. See you next week. Okay, and this should hopefully catch up on all of its stuff. And like I said, we're going to see some Dependabot things coming through somewhat rapidly on each of these, but that's okay. Did this thing really build that fast? Oh, I don't have a branch restriction. That's why it was able to build so fast. Yeah, we want a branch rule set here. Main, right? Is this? No, it's called, this one's master. Yeah. Okay. Enforcement status active. Target branches include default branch. Let's see. Restrict deletions. Acquire linear history. Block force pushes. Nah. If I want to force push, I'm going to force push. Though I guess I could just put myself on the bypass list. Where is the... Where is setting up the build? Require status checks. There we go. And the name of this one is build main. I love that I named my job build main on a master branch. That does not feel like a good name there. Let's see. Create. There we go. And then find a phone because that is necessary. Okay. And where's my mobile? GitHub. Come on. There we are. That took longer than it probably needed to. There. Okay. Okay, that will enforce a handful of these things. We are just going to close this PR because it is not worth it and not deal with it anymore. Dependabot will update itself as it sees fit and as there are new versions. Let's see here. We will go through and do one more update, I think. Well, we might not need to. We've got it all set. So let's cut a tag Well, before I do that, I'm really tempted to let me just open this in Visual Studio. I want to just make sure I at least manually rev all of my NuGet packages. Come on. And then I guess we could do the SLNX upgrade here too. That'd probably be okay. Well, we will test it. Let's see. Let's do manage NuGet packages. And how many of you show an update? Just a couple. That's fine. Rev those two up for me. Pretty please. Thank you. And then I want to come in here. And let's see. .NET SLN my great. Thank you. And then we come here. We're gonna whack that guy. We're gonna hunt for .sln. And then we're just going to make sure we get them all. SLNX, SLNX, SLNX. Let's see, those there. And that one there. Great. So that should work. Let's see here. We're gonna, the Dependabot one is trying to do the same thing we just did. Why did we not hit save all on something? Should have had one more thing for the packages. Let's see, delete file. Stage all. And then let's close out of this solution file. No, I do not want to save. Don't save. That's the problem. Okay. Okay, we're gonna commit this, but I then want to upgrade to centralized package management here. Let's see here. So this is probably another one where I can shell out to Copilot. Upgrade to using centralized package management. Follow the pattern found in the NuGet template. Let's see if it can do that, because that would be cool. I don't know if it can figure this out, except for I think I have it. The .NET new list, I think is the command. Yeah. So I have the template there, so we'll see if it understands what I meant. Yeah, you can fetch that web page. Go ahead. We'll see how close it gets, because what I want to see is the directory packages.props with the property set in it. Yeah. Okay. You think about that while you're doing that, and that's pretty close to what I expect. I don't really like the comments, but that's a minor deal. We could delete them later if we wanted to. Oh wow, it is really running an old material design. We need to seriously rev that. It's back on 3.2. Oh boy. Oh boy, that must be in the examples. Yeah. Oh, wow. I forgot that there's a second solution for all the samples. We'll bring those into the main one. I think I kept it separate so that people didn't have to have those dependencies, but I think I'm going to Great. So it's got a couple warnings. What is it? Explicitly. Oh, so that's just from the NuGet package. For the warning. Keep. Let's see here. Fix the build warning and enable Boolean test station. Yeah. So go fix that because it's just an assembly attribute, I believe. So we'll let it slap that in. And then I think what I want to do is I want to have it drop this solution file in favor of, oh man, I don't know if I can. Because this is way back, like, you'll note I named this WPF core. That's how old this is. Yeah, we may some of those examples may be just time to die. Let's see here. Great. Warning goes away. Keep. Let's check our pipeline. Packages, props, good. Examples. I mean, this, we're gonna not. I don't even. We may not modernize these. These are at a point where they can't even compile. Let's see. Avalon edit. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. So we're going to take that. And we're going to push that. And that'll get a bunch of stuff cleaned up. And then PR that guy. And it should just work. Come on. There you go. Okay, so that goes out there. That goes out there. Yeah, thank you, Copilot. You've been a wonderful audience. Okay, close you down. There. What did you fail on? I'm curious why auto merge failed. Repository required status check build main. Oh, it is unhappy because I didn't make it wait. I need to have this thing depend on. This is fine. Because it should use. Okay, let me go look. I think this is the setup, but I probably just haven't configured the auto merge properly. And I'm trying to remember. I thought just checking the box and making sure you had appropriate requests on there. Let's see. Oh, I think I need this. Use GitHub auto merge. I think this is what I need. I think that's what I want. I think that's what I need. which means I probably have yet another bug to go fix in my templates. Let's put that in. Keep finding these. Despite not working on the templates, keep finding minor little things to tweak. Let's go check. Let me just check those over here. Let me just verify that I do have... Oh, my templates do have it. Which one did I copy from then? Huh, maybe I just missed it. Okay, well, it's set up the way I would expect. That's what's important. And let's see here. So we go back here. This one went 2 minutes ago. That's probably fine. That passed. That passed. Squash merge. Squash merge. Okay, and then that should trigger Dependabot to realize that it's not okay for it to do anything. And it shouldn't need to... these ones should now both fall off because they are no longer relevant and Dependabot can close them. Okay. So, Dependabot, yeah, go ahead and rebase your PR, realize you don't need to do anything anymore, and then, yeah, so it'll figure itself out and close it out. Okay, good. Good. Okay. Now, for the show me the XAML publish, we just need to kick a tag out. I think we modernized everything I wanted to. Delete origin. I thought I had delete head branches turned on. Did I not do that? Typically, when you merge your PRs, you want your automatically delete head branches. Apparently, I did not turn it on. Always suggest updating pull request branches. Yeah, probably should do that. It's nice to have the button. Okay, so let's go back here, and then what are the remote tags? v2.0. So we're going to create a tag. Create tag here, v2.1.0. Submit, and then we are going to push the tag, and that should trigger a run that then deploys out to... Here we go. There's those, but this one is the one that should actually push all the way to NuGet. Oh, I wonder if my API key is going to be expired. Given how long it's been since I've published this, let me go log into NuGet and check. Let me just log into NuGet real quick. Because I think NuGet API keys are good for a year, if I remember right. And I often generate separate keys per repo. You look. Is it expired? Yep, it shows expired. So let me hit the regenerate button and the copy button. We go to the settings button. And we go to the secrets and variables, and we go to actions, NuGet API key. I hit the edit button. I move this not onto the main screen because that's not a great place to do your API keys. I will update my secret. And now we have an updated NuGet API key. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think... I think it gets a copy of secrets as soon as this thing starts. So I suspect what's going to happen is we're going to get to the push to NuGets and it's going to fail. Yeah. Key is invalid, has expired, or does not have permission. Yeah. Okay, so now the question becomes, if I rerun failed jobs, will that get the new secret or not? I can never remember the rules around when it grabs the updated information and when it reruns with the previous information. So worst case scenario, we will delete the tag and recreate the tag if we need to. But this should just work. Again, I can't remember if it will get the updated secret or if I have to actually by rerunning or not. I can't remember. But with any luck, we will have this guy up, modernized, and ready and rocking. And that is, I will say, one of the nice parts about Copilot. It has made modernizing and updating stuff so much quicker. You know, when you aren't running into WPF errors. Who thumbs up me? Top stair day. That one of the ones in here? Nope. We got another one here, and hopefully that gets that thing going. Okay, come on. Go, 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 because I'd really like to see this thing merge through and be updated and usable and whatnot. I had a colleague tell me earlier this week that even if your package doesn't need much, it is good to always have something being pushed in at least every 6 months to a year. Otherwise, it looks like an abandoned package. And and I think he's right. At a minimum, because there's new versions of .NET coming out every November, there's probably at least a framework rev. Hey, look, it did get the new key. Push to NuGet. Yay! Okay, so now if we go out to NuGet.org, we should be able to see, show me the XAML. Because I'm logged in, I should be able to get the preview version. Due to the following reasons, contain one or more PDBs that are not portable. Ah. You can re-upload it. I'm not going to re-upload it. So this one's being processed, but the symbol packages are not flagged as portable. Probably because that was not a thing. Update the project files so that all symbol packages are portable. Is already portable symbol package format. Yeah. Okay, and while we're in here, add in source link for GitHub. So source link is a way, so symbol packages, for people who are unfamiliar, is the link between your source code and the compiled assembly. Effectively, if you imagine the PDB files that you see in your output directories when you're doing debug builds, those link up your source code with the relevant, I should say, they link up the relevant lines in your source code to the instructions inside of the compiled DLL. Source link is a similar way of doing that, except for it allows it to link to a remote source. So rather than having to have all of that information inside of your package, it can just know where that source code lives, and then it links into a commit hash so that it can, if somebody wants to get that source, it can then pull it down. Great. So go, go, go. Do the needful. And then pull all that in. So the source link NuGet packages, there are separate ones out there depending on where your source code is hosted. So the key premise with SourceLink is that the source is hosted somewhere that the person who is trying to view the source can access. So if it's an open source repo on GitHub, DevOps, Bitbucket, etc., there are separate packages you need because each of these SourceLink packages build up the URL to connect it to a little bit differently because each source provider does something slightly different with each of those. Restore a package, verify SourceLink is working. I don't know that that actually verifies a darn thing. It just verifies that it could find the package, but sure, fine. By checking each of the assemblies. Is there a SourceLink global tool? Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't think there was a SourceLink global tool. What are you doing? You're finding the PDBs. And SourceLink files are being generated. Let me read one to make sure it's configured correctly. Sure. Try again. The build is generated since the corresponding. Let me verify the configuration is complete. Great. Thank you. You've been a wonderful help. Okay, so that should get me. Let's see. Debug type set, publish repository URL, embed on direct sources, sets those up. Expect to see the same thing on all of these. Great, great, great. That works well. That works well. Wonderful. Okay. NuGet. Symbol updates. Let's see. NuGet. That's not how you spell NuGet. Oh well. Great. Send it. Push. Submit. And then we're gonna send that guy on through. And then we will enable auto merge. Enable auto merge. Auto merge. We're off to the races. Okay, cool. And then I'm tempted to push another build from that immediately, but we might wait for just a minute. Let's see. Oh, because it's actually not going to publish it because of that. I am tempted. Do I... Because it wants to re-upload the symbol package. It claims listed here. Let me just look. I think it actually is there. Let's just do this. Yeah, so there's that. Let's do we have a README on this repository? I think I do. I'm just looking to embed something in the NuGet package to make it not look so. Yeah. Let's do one more change then in here. Let's see here. Update the NuGet packages to use the README MD in the repo root. Go, go, go. Yeah. I do have a handful of these old projects where I have not kept them up to date, and I really need to do better. So, mock was 2 weeks ago. This one's this week. Material design will hopefully be not too long, assuming they get that WPF bug worked out. What did you change? Package readme. Great. Oh, and I don't think we need this anymore. We shouldn't need this anymore. Might just take this opportunity to clean up a handful of CSproj files while we're in here mucking with them anyway. Let's see. Those are, I think, still needed. Is right lines to file really not capitalized property? MS build tasks. I think it's MS builds. Yeah. Okay. So the task is appropriately cased. But MS build isn't case sensitive. And so I get away with this. That's bad. So we will fix that. Yeah, we will leave that, let that stand for now. Let's see, to include the README, great. Go here, jump up to here, pop those changes, review them really quick. README is included, cleaned that up. Cleaned up there. That's all fine. Stage all changes. Let's see. Let's go package README. And okay. And push and do the needful. Okay. Yep. And off to the races. Okay. Well, I think that'll probably do it for tonight. I will probably get a 211 pushed out just to make this thing happier and then get it going. And then probably, with any luck, reference it inside of the material design project and get that release rolled out. Since we aren't revving the dependencies, even though we're building with net 10, the target framework is still net 8. So we can get away with being a little, an easier integration. And that way there's just some nice cleanup and updated little things in there. So we'll see how that goes. It'll be fine. It'll work out great. At least that's my plan. So thank you everyone for coming and hanging out. I apologize for the wacky audio and my browser's refreshing and all that jazz. So that was exciting. But with that, I will tell everybody happy coding. As always, check out the .NET Conf sessions and Spokane.NET user group. And I will see everyone next time. Have a good one. Happy coding.